More on this throughout the day as well. The other big story we're following, the Commanders could soon have a new owner as an agreement in principle has been reached to purchase the team from Dan Snyder for about $6 billion.
Yeah, the buyer group led by Philadelphia 76ers owner Josh Harris also includes Magic Johnson and Mitchell Rales, a Maryland resident. No deal has not been finalized yet, nor sent to the league for approval, but that could happen as soon as the league's next owners meet in May. Now, we have team coverage of this big news this morning. Our Bob Barner getting reaction from fans, many who have waited a long time for this.
All right, we're going to begin with a closer look at what is the next step and what might the sale of the Commanders look like. So joining me now, legal expert Seth Berenzweig. Good morning, Seth. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Great to see you.
So from a procedural standpoint, what's the process? What happens next?
Sure. So what we have now is in the deal space what we call a signed term sheet, or a letter of intent, which means that you have the basic contours and outlines of a deal. The deal now has to go through legal review, and it also has to be submitted to approval for the owners at the upcoming meeting next month in Minneapolis. It will be May 22nd. At that point, the league will provide through the owners the final approval of the deal. And this is going to get approved because, look, this is a match made in heaven. You have a clearly motivated buyer and a seller. The seller knows that he needs to get out of Dodge because if he doesn't sell this team before the summer, then he's going to really end up with a forced sale. And this consortium of buyers led by Josh Harris is really exactly what the doctor ordered for our nation's capital. Josh Harris has a lot of experience and a lot of credibility. He runs several professional sports franchises. He came in a narrow second place to buy the Denver Broncos, so he knows the process at the NFL and he has been vetted. He has already put down the 30% cash required under the NFL procedures to be able to get approved for this deal. So what's going to happen next is it will be submitted for league approval, and then they will end up with a final purchase agreement. We're going to have a done deal signed, sealed, and delivered by late summer.
So as far as the other owners are concerned, this seems like a slam dunk to me. If you go back in very recent history, right, the record sale for an NFL team was less than $3 billion. And then with the Broncos, it went north of $4 billion. And now just a year or so later, you're looking at $6 billion. I don't know why any other team owner would not sign off on this, because it just seems like it made everybody richer in the league.
Well, no question about that. And also, Dan Snyder has been an absolute scar on the NFL. There have been a variety of civil and criminal proceedings. Even the commissioner himself has been brought into litigation in the District of Columbia. So this is something that is exactly what everybody needs. And it's a virtual certainty that this deal is going to close. Keep also in mind that although you have many has viewed as the most incompetent sports owner getting a historic new high of $6.05 billion, that at the back end, this is really a good deal for the buyers as well. You've had changes in the legal environment over the last several years that has legalized sports gambling. You've had new lucrative deals in streaming for NFL. So you have a lot of cash. You have a rabid fan base. From a TV standpoint, this is the top 6th market in the United States. It's a great deal for everybody. It's really, the sun is out in Washington. It's almost like Batman came to save Gotham City. It's a wonderful morning, and we really have a virtual certainty on this deal. When people, by the way, say that it has not been signed, technically it has been signed. We have a signed deal. We have a signed letter of intent. The only thing that has to be signed in the final official sense is a purchase agreement. That's going to happen right after the owners submit their final review and approval.
So, Seth, 2 quick questions for you from a legal standpoint, one on the field and one off. I'll put them both at you and feel free to respond. The on-the-field question is, if the new ownership wants to make any changes, change the team name, change the team uniforms, change anything that the NFL would have to approve, is that something that could happen? Would that come up at the owners' meetings, or would that be down the road? And the second question, is there anything that would change with Dan Snyder's outstanding lawsuits not related to football once the sale goes through?
Great question. So in terms of rebranding, once the owners have closed the deal, then they're going to be able, through the purchase agreement, to have complete legal authority, subject to legal approval, to change a variety of things with respect to the team. They can change the branding. They can change the logo. They're probably going to get a new stadium. So the answer to that is absolutely yes. With regard to the litigation and criminal storm clouds that are going to continue to hover over Dan Snyder, those are things that are largely going to be following him out the door. Yes, there's going to be team liabilities and issues that are going to stay behind. But keep in mind that Dan Snyder has been alleged to, among other things, participated in some questionable financial schemes relative to criminal investigation that's going on in the Eastern District of Virginia and Alexandria. And while he's been asking for indemnification, that, by the way, he's not going to get, you can't get indemnified for criminal issues. So, yes, he will continue to have a storm cloud over him, but he will get $6.05 billion, and he will be out of Dodge, out of the nation's capital, just within a matter of a few months.
You know, just for clarity, that .05 is $50 million, and he only paid like $800 million for this team when he bought it. So even that little decimal is a lot of money. Seth, thanks very much. I appreciate it. Seth Berenzweig, a legal expert, joining us this morning to break down the sale.